There is a quiet truth, one that echoes through the halls of ancient wisdom, a truth that has been whispered across the centuries but only fully heard by those who have learned to listen. It is a truth hidden in plain sight, not in the treasures we seek or the fleeting pleasures we chase, but in the way we live, deliberately, intentionally, with resilience and courage. This truth belongs to the Stoics. It is the key to a life well lived, the secret to lasting happiness and fulfillment. For those who walk the Stoic path, happiness is not found in external things. It is not handed to us by fate or fortune. Happiness, they tell us, is something far deeper, more enduring. It is forged within, built upon a foundation of self-control, reason, and virtue. These are the tools of the Stoic, the means by which we can achieve true fulfillment. And yet, it is not an easy path. The journey to fulfillment demands that we confront our most destructive emotions, fear, anger, envy, despair, and rise above them. It calls for an unwavering commitment to live in accordance with nature, to act with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. This is the Stoic way, and within it lies the secret to a contented life. In the pages that follow, we will explore 5 steps, 5 principles, that serve as the cornerstone of Stoic happiness. These steps, drawn from the teachings of the great Stoic philosophers, will guide us toward the peace and resilience that define true fulfillment. They are not mere theories, they are practices to be lived each day, in every decision, every challenge. Step 1. Master your desires. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Epictetus. At the heart of Stoicism lies a simple yet profound distinction. The separation between what is within our control and what is beyond it. The things we control, the Stoics remind us, are limited to our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Everything else, what others think of us, the outcomes of our efforts, the twists of fate, lies outside our control. This distinction is the first step to mastering our desires. We often spend our lives chasing things we cannot control: wealth, status, recognition, or the affection of others. We are pulled by the forces of desire and aversion, constantly striving to gain what we think will make us happy, only to find that these external rewards are fleeting, unsatisfying. The Stoic knows that true happiness cannot be found in these pursuits. Instead, we must learn to focus our desires on what is within our control, our own choices, our own virtues. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This strength, this self-mastery, is the key to freeing ourselves from the bondage of unfulfilled desires. To master your desires, you must practice indifference toward the things beyond your control. This does not mean apathy or a lack of care, but a deliberate, thoughtful detachment. When you face disappointment or frustration, ask yourself, was this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Turn inward, toward your own mind, where your true power lies. This first step requires discipline, a commitment to live by your own standards rather than the whims of fortune. But as you practice this detachment, you will find that your desires begin to align with what truly matters: the pursuit of virtue, the cultivation of wisdom, and the strength to face whatever life may bring. Step 2. Overcome destructive emotions. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Epictetus. Emotions are powerful forces. They can drive us to great heights or pull us into deep despair. For the Stoic, emotions are not to be ignored, but to be understood, mastered, and transformed. This is the second step to fulfillment, overcoming destructive emotions, not by suppressing them, but by understanding their root causes and reshaping our relationship with them. The Stoics teach us that destructive emotions, anger, fear, envy, anxiety, arise when we place too much importance on external things beyond our control. When we become attached to outcomes, when we fear loss or failure, these emotions take hold and cloud our judgment. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Our minds create scenarios of worst-case outcomes, exaggerate slights, and amplify fears. But when we pause and reflect, we often find that our fears are based on false perceptions, our anger on unrealistic expectations, our envy on misunderstanding. The Stoic approach to emotions is rooted in reason. When a destructive emotion arises, we are called to examine it. Is this emotion based on something within my control? Am I allowing an external event to dictate my inner peace? In this way, we can begin to weaken the hold of destructive emotions, replacing them with calm, rational responses. One of the most powerful Stoic practices for overcoming emotions is the exercise of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. By imagining the worst that could happen, not in a pessimistic way, but in a way that prepares us mentally for challenges, we can build resilience. We learn not to be surprised or overwhelmed by life's difficulties, but to face them with equanimity. When we overcome our destructive emotions, we free ourselves from their tyranny. We regain control of our inner world, finding peace not in avoiding life's difficulties, but in responding to them with wisdom and strength. Step 3. Cultivate inner virtue. Character is fate. Heraclitus. At the core of Stoicism is the belief that virtue is the highest good, the ultimate source of happiness and fulfillment. For the Stoic, virtue is not an abstract ideal, it is a daily practice, a way of living in alignment with nature, reason, and moral principles. Virtue is the foundation upon which a fulfilled life is built. The Stoics define 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are not innate qualities that some are born with and others are not. They are cultivated through conscious effort, through the choices we make and the actions we take. Wisdom is the ability to discern what is true, to see things as they are, free from illusion or wishful thinking. It is the virtue of right judgment, of understanding what is within our control and what is not. Courage is the strength to face adversity without fear, to endure hardship with dignity, and to stand firm in our principles, even in the face of opposition or danger. Justice is the commitment to fairness, to treating others with respect and integrity, to acting in a way that promotes the common good rather than selfish interests. Temperance is the practice of self-control, of moderation in all things, of avoiding excess and living in balance. These virtues are not separate from one another, they are intertwined, each reinforcing the other. To live virtuously is to live wisely, courageously, justly, and temperately in all aspects of life. The Stoics believed that a life lived in pursuit of virtue is a life of fulfillment. As Seneca wrote, virtue alone is invincible. It is through the cultivation of these virtues that we become resilient in the face of life's challenges, finding joy not in what we gain or lose, but in how we live. Step 4. Embrace the present moment. True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. Seneca. We live in a world that constantly pulls us out of the present moment. We are conditioned to chase the future, to dwell on the past, to seek happiness in what is to come or mourn what has been lost. But the Stoics teach us that true fulfillment can only be found in the here and now, in embracing the present moment fully, without distraction or regret. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded himself daily to live each day as if it were your last. This is not a call to reckless living, but a reminder that the present moment is all we truly possess. The past is gone, the future uncertain. What matters is how we live right now, in this moment, with clarity, intention, and purpose. To embrace the present is to free ourselves from the anxieties of what may happen and the regrets of what has passed. It is to recognize that our power lies not in changing the past or controlling the future, but in choosing how we respond to the present. This practice requires mindfulness, a constant awareness of where our thoughts and actions are leading us. Are we caught in worry about tomorrow? Are we dwelling on past mistakes? Or are we fully engaged in the task at hand, in the conversation we are having, in the life we are living right now? By embracing the present moment, we learn to find joy and peace not in some distant future, but in the simple, everyday experiences of life. We learn to appreciate the beauty of the present, the opportunities it offers, and the power we have to shape our own lives through our choices. Step 5. Accept the unavoidable. Amor fati, love of fate, that is my nature. Nietzsche. The Stoic approach to life is not about resisting or avoiding difficulties, but about accepting them with grace. This is the final step to fulfillment, the radical acceptance of what is, the understanding that life is filled with challenges, losses, and uncertainties, and that true happiness lies not in avoiding these realities, but in embracing them. The Stoics called this amor fati, the love of fate. It is the practice of accepting everything that happens, not with resignation or bitterness, but with a sense of purpose and even gratitude. For the Stoic, everything that happens is part of the natural order, part of the unfolding of life's plan. We may not control the events of our lives, but we can control how we respond to them. As Epictetus said, do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well. This is the essence of acceptance, not fighting against the inevitable, but embracing it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to practice the virtues we hold dear. When we accept the unavoidable, we free ourselves from the pain of resistance, from the futile attempt to control what cannot be controlled. We learn to flow with life, to find peace in the midst of chaos, to remain steady in the face of uncertainty. This final step, perhaps the most difficult of all, is the key to lasting fulfillment. It is the culmination of all the Stoic practices, the mastery of desires, the overcoming of emotions, the cultivation of virtue, the embrace of the present. It is the acceptance of life as it is, with all its beauty and hardship, all its joy and sorrow. In the end, the Stoic secret to happiness is no secret at all. It is a way of living, a path that each of us can choose to walk. It is a path of wisdom, courage, and resilience, a path that leads not to fleeting pleasure, but to lasting fulfillment. As we walk this path together, let us remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: it is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. To live, truly live, is to embrace the Stoic way. And in doing so, we will find the happiness we have been seeking all along.